Yep, yep. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on. We're gonna go ahead and kick this off and get started. Um, Unfortunately, you guys got me kind of commentating this one because I didn't. I'm really bad at communicating and didn't really talk to Fraser ahead of time about this. You guys probably came on expecting to be able to hear from somebody who knows what they're doing, but unfortunately, you guys get me instead. So, but the good news is that I have I've been a big part. I've taken a big part out of building this integration between KeySteps and EmpowerLO, and I'm super passionate about it. I'm really, really excited to share it with you guys. Basically, the premise of this webinar is that Rocket Mortgage bought Truebill in 2021 for $1.4 billion. And we saw probably 2 or 3 months ago, we saw the CEO of Rocket do an entire podcast episode with Diego Sanchez at Housing Wire talking about that same play, talking about rocket money, right, which is the graduation of Truebill and what they're trying to accomplish with rocket money. So they're talking about this 4 years later after spending $1.4 billion on it. This is a publicly traded company. If this was anything that they had to be ashamed about as far as like the amount of time that it's taken them to get to this point, as far as the amount of money that they spent on it, this is not something that they would be going on a podcast and talking for an hour about 4 years later. And so this kind of put it fresh in my mind when Brian and Fraser and I connected and we're talking about the KeySteps product and how much better loan officers could benefit from it. And Brian will go through the KeySteps product. Brian View is the CEO of, or not, I'm sorry, not CEO. I talk too much. I say things
I work for FinLocker.
yeah. Brian is the face of FinLocker. And FinLocker has been around for a while. For those of you guys that don't know, FinLocker has allowed mortgage brands across the country to launch their own app in the App Store. That is, like, I always joke, it's like Rocket Money and Zillow made a baby and then let you keep all the data. And that's basically what FinLocker has been doing for mortgage brands, mortgage companies across the country for years now. Well, recently in the last year or two, they rolled out a version of FinLocker that is for the individual producer, for somebody who doesn't necessarily want to go and create that app and go through and jump through all those hoops and spend the money that it takes to do that. And we have seen our clients benefit from it right away. And so we put together a really cool integration that basically gives you a ecosystem, right? An ecosystem that allows you to engage and stay engaged with your borrowers, not only pre-transaction, but after the transaction, essentially creating a relationship that transcends the mortgage transaction, and gives you an opportunity to stay in front of them for life potentially. So we're really excited about this. I know I speak for all of us when I say we're ecstatic to be rolling this integration out and the offer that we have tied with it today. So on the agenda, I will, before kicking it over to Brian, I'll let Fraser jump in and say his piece, say what he's got to say around this. I know that he's taken a big part of this integration as well. Then we'll kick it over to Brian. We'll let Brian walk you through KeySteps, what that app looks like. I'll go ahead and demo it in a mobile environment so you can see like what it looks like when you're a user on the phone, because that's where 99% of the traffic in this app is going to come from, is people using the app on their phone. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. And then I'm going to jump into the integration, which is really where the magic happens with this, where we're getting signals into your CRM of exactly what your borrowers are doing inside this app, which the extent of which the information you get is absolutely crazy. So with that, Fraser, do you have anything that you want to say? I'm imagining so, because you like to clean up after me. So I appreciate it.
Hey, you did a good job. I'm proud of you. So Kim must have been coaching you before the call. So good job, Kim, on getting Michael up to professional status. But my friends, like, look, you've seen all the different acquisitions, Rocket, Redfin being the biggest one, right? But we've had others since then. And basically what they gave you is 1.75 billion reasons to pay attention to what we're talking about today. And and look, we're not going to pretend like, hey, you do this and you're going to be just like with Rocket and Redfin. It's not about that. And it's about this is that, the mortgage industry at scale, if your name wasn't Rocket, conceded what we call the macro years ago, right? And you're not going to compete in, against the keywords, the ads. As a company that runs ads, we see exactly when there's certain like low hanging fruit keywords or traffic that eventually will get gobbled up by the big boys. So that's why if you run ads anywhere, that's why those costs fluctuate. And so ultimately what you can do is win in the micro, and that's local. And now the cool thing is that when you start winning and competing in the micro, it's going to help you win in the macro. And what KeySteps and what we're building, what we call like the full cycle here, is that you have to own the attention from the beginning. What you don't want to be is what most of the mortgage industry is, and that's coming in at the point of sale, right? Coming in when they've actually made their decision or they're ready to make a decision. The benefit is to be with the consumer at the very beginning of the journey, and that's 84%, by the way. And if you see any study out there, any type of thing that's talking about like social media or web or anything when it comes to where like that traffic or lead generation comes from, it's wrong, because the one data point they leave out is that they're only focusing on the last mile. And like, so for example, right, a consumer, and I'm telling you, it's 84%, the data's there, is that they're looking online, they're watching YouTube videos, they're reading articles, they're watching, they're on news, main media, new media, doesn't really matter. That's what they're out there looking for, information about buying a home, doing a refi, whatever it happens to be, right? So they're already doing that. Now, once they've done that education, they may in fact talk to a family member who's in the business or a friend who knows someone in the business, or they just may put it in I see this all the time in my local Facebook group, people asking for whatever, right? That's social media, by the way, a Facebook group, social media. Then someone recommends somebody, and then they go like, "Oh, this is Cynthia. All right, great. Hey, Cynthia, I'm Frank. I'm looking to buy a home." And everyone's like, "Oh, that was a personal relationship." That's what the reports show you, because those are the coaches and professionals that have like staked their business on that, like that human, and that social media doesn't matter, online doesn't matter. That's the data they're showing you. But that journey didn't begin with that personal referral. It began online. And so the power is to be there at what Brian calls the point of thought, but it's the point of discovery too, right? That's where you want to play. And that's what KeySteps does. It allows you to grab that attention, allows you to play. And there's so many different ways, I won't say to sell it, but to create the narrative of how this benefits the consumer. And it's not a hard narrative to create, because it's absolutely true. And so you just got to decide, is that, do you want to just go ahead and just, be like, all right, I surrender. I'm never going to compete with the big guys or whatever. I'm just going to continue doing, the same thing over and over again. Or do you really want to play in that strategy that has been proven that, like, again, like I said, Rocket didn't just spend that amount of money just for fun. They did it because they need to own that attention from the beginning, not from where they did it, because all that's going to do is just add to their bottom line. So you can do the same thing and then jump onto the local aspect of that, of being that local professional expert, to really maximize your reach and your opportunities to have conversations, which in fact is how you make your money.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
Is that good? All right,
that was great. Mic drop.
I love that.
Awesome. Thank you, Frazier. Brian, you want to jump in and
yeah,
show us what this is all about?
Let's do it. I'm going to change it up a little bit in terms of how I actually show the product, because last week we went live with our newest feature. We call it Buyer Vision. And let me frame up Buyer Vision for everybody. We all know what trigger leads are. We all hate them. Most of us, when trigger leads really started to become like very prevalent and, uber annoying, we all tried to find ways to circumvent anybody getting triggered. And so that led to this the spike in single bureau soft credit pulls, right? And I remember it wasn't, probably not even 3 years ago, you could get a single bureau soft pull for like $2.50. Today, you're lucky if you get it for $20. I'm hearing as high as 30, 35. So one of the things that we saw as a major pain point in all the conversations we were having with loan officers and lenders was this cost of credit. And then I'm being super transparent here. Another thing we were seeing as a tech partner in the mortgage industry who doesn't live in the middle of the loan manufacturing process, we've not yet graduated to what I would call must-have technology. In other words, could I be a loan officer and a lender and live without FinLocker? Yeah, it'd be dumb to do it, but yeah, you could. You can't really live without a point of sale, right? Or a loan origination system. So we sit, and I would say you can't even live without a CRM, although people try to do it. You should never do that either. We sit outside of all those kind of must-have technologies, which made it difficult sometimes for people to see the ROI on the FinLocker or KeySteps product, because based on what Fraser teed up and what Michael talked about is our strength is in this long game of nurture and building trust for you, the loan officer. And so it could be 6, 12, 18 months before you could quote unquote attribute a closed loan and a commission to this technology. And we recognize that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of us in this industry. Times are not, we're not booming by any stretch. So what we saw as an opportunity to help loan officers and lenders better manage the credit process and hopefully manage down the cost of credit, but also, this is our selfish play, for the first time, have what I would call an immediate, tangible economic ROI that could be realized by using KeySteps in your process. So that's the basis of why we did what we did with what we call buyer vision. Let me show you the back end first. I'm going to work backwards. I'm trying to be different. I'm reading Fraser's hat, so I'm going to do this demo in reverse. So I'm logged into the FinLocker admin portal, so the back end where you all would live as a loan officer, right? So I'm going to just scroll down real quick and grab Chris. Chris is my borrower who I know has already, created an account, linked his credit, and actually shared his buyer vision report. This is also going to help connect the dots on what Michael is going to show when he demos the combination of the mobile experience and the integration in EmpowerLO. So this is what I see as a loan officer on one of my users inside of KeySteps. This is all the data, right? Here's Chris, my borrower. Chris created his account in September in 2024. He last logged in today. His persona is what we call just getting started. So he's like an early journey, first-time home buyer. He's actually enrolled several properties. Chris is one of our demo accounts, so there's a lot going on in here. He's actually favorited properties in a real estate search that he did inside the app. His filter for search right now is a price range between 100 and 750, and he's looking for a single-family home. And then I can see his credit score, his current score between 800 and 809, his previous score. We update the score every 7 days. And then, boom, we get to this buyer vision. So now I can open up buyer vision, and I'm going to let this sink in. This is what you now would see in real time. So imagine I'm on the phone with Chris. Chris and I have a 3-minute consultation conversation. And when I ask about credit, it's a little squishy. Like, well, I had this and maybe, I haven't seen my score in a while. All the things that you guys can signal and pick up right away. Instead of me going and spending $20 to go validate what I think I'm going to find by running a soft credit pull, I say to Chris, hey, download my KeySteps app. It's free. It's secure. You're going to link your credit. It's a simple process. Once you link your credit, You're going to be prompted to share your buyer vision report. We could do it right now while we're on the call together. And in literally 3 minutes, I could be looking at what you're looking at, Chris, borrower. And then we can determine best next steps, right? So think of this as like if you were building a process to determine when you want to spend money for a credit report, put KeySteps or your company's branded version of FinLocker or whatever at the top of the funnel when there's any question mark on someone's credit. So don't go spend money until you know there's something worth spending money on it, I guess is my point. So basically I can see Chris's score. I can see what I'm not giving you guys here. You're not getting a credit report. You're getting visibility into some markers on this consumer's financial life, including credit data, that will determine whether or not you should go order a credit report. And I say those words because our use case of credit data from the Bureau falls under consumer credit education. And so you can't go take this credit data and use it to render a credit decision. You can't really do that anyway on a single bureau. This is the opportunity to avoid cost for you. But we're going to show you a summary of all of their liabilities by these account types, balances, payments, etc. And then this is the part that I think is most valuable. Chris doesn't have any negative marks on his credit, but if he had any late payments or derogatories, we're going to call those out for you here. So, in 3 minutes or less, you can engage the customer through KeySteps, get visibility into what's going on in their credit life, determine if there's something you should be able to do for them right now. And if there is, go into that process to do that. If there's not, the bonus now is you've got them in your ecosystem. The KeySteps app is going to start to do what it does, which is engage, nurture, and educate the consumer along their journey. So now let me pause there and just take any comments or questions before I go back to the consumer side real quick. Anything in the chat for me? All good.
We had a question in the comment chat a little bit, jumping ahead a little bit, but we'll ask it so that we forget it, so that we don't forget. Is it possible to streamline the onboarding to get people straight to connecting the credit and sharing the buyer vision report instead of having them go through the standard registration process?
Love that question. So you'll notice on here, we've got beta version. You're going to see it in the consumer side beta. So we literally sprinted, and Kimberly, Fraser, Michael, you guys know, because you were literally with us at the very beginning of this process. We stood this feature up in about 4.5 weeks. And so we said for beta V1, we just need to make the data available for a loan officer to get it. We're already working on 1.5, which we're going to push out early next week, which creates a little bit more of a streamlined path. And then to that question specifically, we're going to create a new persona. So you'll be able to invite consumers in under a very specific persona. We'll just call it buyer vision for now. And in that persona, the consumer will go right into the flow to connect credit and share it. So we're going to tighten that up, and you'll see that over the next 3 to 5 weeks in these sprint iterations that we're going to do to continue to kind of advance the product. And you'll also notice there's a couple fields on here: DTI, income, employment. We're going to add assets on here. So inside the consumer side of this thing, in addition to linking credit, consumers can either tell us their income and employment, or better yet, we prompt them to connect direct to payroll. Consumers can tell us how much they've saved for a down payment, or better yet, we prompt them to connect directly to those financial accounts that they're using to save for down payment. And so this buyer vision report over the next 3 to 5 weeks is going to become what I would call a verified buyer vision report. Because if one of your users not only links their credit, but links directly to the bank account or accounts that they're using to save for down payment and links to their payroll, you're going to have this concept of a verified consumer on 4 dimensions: credit, assets, income, employment. And then a byproduct of that allows us to calculate this DTI. So now, imagine in that first engagement with a consumer after they've created their account and shared buyer vision, that conversation you're having is a lot different than, starting from scratch, right? All right, let me pivot back to the consumer side real quick, log back in. So now we're back in as a consumer. This is where buyer vision is. So the consumer again sees all the same information. They can share there as well. Let me just show you, since I brought up the employment and income. About 4 weeks ago, we added the ability for consumers to connect direct to their payroll. So Chris works for this company, Platformtronic. Chris is a helpline agent. He started there on October 27th of 2022. He gets paid weekly. There's his year-to-date income. We break out any commissions, bonus, overtime. Guys, this integration is with a platform called Argyle. So they're one of the leading employment income verification products, not just in mortgage, but in financial services. And so we now have this concept of a consumer who can be directly connected, consumer permission, direct source data. And then when we start doing, our readiness assessments, so let's go take a look there. When we start doing a readiness assessment that includes direct source income, assets, credit, employment, the certainty and confidence that a consumer can get going through this kind of preparation stage through the app is through the roof, because now we're not taking, answers to a form they filled out. We're actually getting the direct source data from their financial accounts, their payroll, their credit, et cetera. And so the whole concept of what we build at KeySteps or at FinLocker and through KeySteps is to scale the ability of a loan officer to lead with education in their communities and be that single best resource for financial literacy, financial education, and now couple it with this technology platform that is going to be on your, client, prospect, lead, on their phone 24/7, 365. You're always, a button away. So this is how you show up as a loan officer. You're always in the app. All your information's here. They can connect with you directly. You can have your 1003 link in here, so they can go seamlessly from getting ready to applying right through the app. And you can partner with agents in your community and leverage your agent's sphere of influence in their database to engage more consumers. So let me pause, because I know, Michael, I love the way you do the mobile side demo. I think you'll be able to tell a good story for folks on how not only the consumer engages, but then how the loan officer is directly connected through our integration with EmpowerLO. But I'll take one more pause for any questions or comments.
Yeah, we've got a couple here. So number one, David Madrid wants to know what are like your security levels to protect the consumer data?
Awesome question. Great question. So we've basically had to engineer this experience to meet bank level security requirements. So we have about a half dozen federally chartered financial institutions as clients. We have a partnership integration with Fannie Mae, so we're audited by Fannie Mae. We're a day one certainty asset verification partner for Fannie Mae. We have a strategic relationship with TransUnion, so we've had to go through all of their security protocols. They're an investor in FinLocker as well. Radian, the mortgage insurance company, is a strategic partner of ours. They have a real estate business that is integrated in here, which powers our real estate search and valuation. I say that because we've gone through their diligence from a security perspective. So what I would tell you, David, and others, is we've engineered this to the level of a bank level security. We've got all the protections around cybersecurity. We've created, so we have like this infrastructure, and then we have enterprises inside the infrastructure. So think of those as companies, but then each consumer, each locker, each app is its own walled off environment. So in the low probability chance that somebody was able to hack at a single user level, they would never be able to breach outside of that user into the other users and the broader population. So that's like all the bells and whistles around like bank level security. From the consumer perspective, we are a consumer permission opt-in platform. So what, David, if you invite a consumer in under your link, that consumer creates an account, accepts the terms of service, privacy policy. We also prompt the user to opt in to share data, visibility, if you will, with their sponsored loan officer. Our opt-in rate for that data sharing runs at about 88%. So it's very high. At any given time, if I'm a consumer in here and I've shared with you, David, let's say, and for whatever reason, I'm like, well, I don't want David to see my stuff anymore. I could come in here and literally turn off data sharing. So consumer permissioned, opt-in, and then at each of those data layers that I described, whether it's income, assets, employment, credit, we follow all of the requirements of each of those data providers, which also has its own layer of security. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I mean, I know from experience between talking to you and talking to Sam over at My Credit Guy that even just one bureau, like partnering with one bureau, is enough to enough to make your head spin a couple times. So
yeah,
awesome. Okay, we have another one. We have another couple ones here. I'm gonna skip over one and come back to it. This one question was, I feel like, tied to what you were saying around day one certainty and stuff like that. Warren says that he heard from listening to one of a previous recorded webinar of yours that one of the objectives of having the borrower link their asset and income data is to make it easier to share these with the lender for underwriting. Do you have any lenders right now that accept those verifications generated from the system? And what does that workflow look like?
Yeah. So today, the sharing for that purpose on the back end. So there is I'll show you the workflow. We'll start there from the consumer perspective, because this is all live right now even in KeySteps. So, whoops, let me go back. By the way, consumers can store documents as well, and not just documents for getting ready to apply for a mortgage, but they could store other, home related or financial related documents in here. We've got a bunch of sample folders, but they could, include their insurance, receipts, warranties, things of that sort. But let me go to our sharing process. So now, as a consumer, if I'm ready to start my loan application with my loan officer, so this is Chris, this is the loan officer, me. So Chris is going to start sharing. I'm going to share for a home loan. It's a single family home. Let's just say I'm applying for a $250,000 loan. I'm just going to type in my fake social security number here real quick. This is all pre-populated. I didn't set it up that way. So now I'm going to start selecting the data I want to share with Chris. So I'm going to share this checking account and maybe this cash management account. I can also share access to this mortgage account, maybe this credit card. And if I've actually stored documents, right, like tax returns, I could share those. And then this is a little annoying. We're working on this, but that integration I showed you with the direct to payroll, we actually bring in all the a year's worth of pay statements. Of course, the consumer's not going to share a year's worth of pay statements. So I'll say the last two. We're updating this, and we're going to put the date, the pay stub date on there for the consumer. So now if I scroll down, I can also upload other documents if I needed to. I can share this across. So now Brian, as the loan officer, I'm going to get an email from KeySteps saying that one of my borrowers, Chris, just initiated a share for a loan application. What we've done is FinLocker, we've packaged up all the data side of things into a Fannie 3.4 MISMO compliant data set. And then we're giving you the PDFs of those tax returns, the banks, we convert the bank data into a readable bank report. I won't call it a bank statement, but a bank report. The bank report itself, as it's constructed, has been verified by Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA as acceptable documentation for asset verification. But in that MISMO data set, we're sharing the Fannie Mae asset key. So if you were to take that MISMO data set and import it into POS LOS, you could then use it to run DU and get that DU eligibility for verification of asset, or D1C for verification of assets. Hopefully that answered the question there.
Hell yeah. Okay, the next two questions, and we should be able to move on, revolve around the co-branding component with real estate agents, with referral partners. So Emmett just wants like a general overview of like what that looks like, and I think it would be great for everybody. But then also specifically related to the buyer vision reports, we had a question of the access to that data by referral partners if you're co-branding with someone.
Got it. Good, great question. So the co-branding setup is easy. I'll start with two pieces. So for anybody in the EmpowerLO community that wants to go on KeySteps, you have a very special pricing model. So we normally sell KeySteps for $175 a month on our month-to-month canceled anytime, or $115 a month if you pay a year up front. For the Empower community, it's $150 for that month-to-month subscription, or $95 if you pay a year up front. And I'm sharing this because underneath those subscription fees, that's the entire cost. Unlimited consumers, so you can have as many consumers in here as you desire, and unlimited agents. Okay, so now let's go back to the app. So now, how do I set up an agent? In our admin portal, as a loan officer, I literally would just go in and I can add an agent as simply as first name, last name, company name, email address, mobile. It's going to default to me as the loan officer. I can upload their photo, or I could just do this and set them up. The agent would get an instant email from KeySteps saying that, Brian, your loan officer, just set you up as a user, complete your profile. So then they can enter their license information. They can put a description if they want of themselves, upload their photo, etc. And then you can manage your agents. You can delete them. You can add an infinite number of agents. So this is what it looks like if they're fully, if you added their photo in there. And so now what happens once you add an agent, so like Alexander's been added. Alexander now, when he gets his onboarding email in real time from KeySteps, there's going to be a unique link, a unique URL, and he'll also get, and each LO gets this, and each agent gets this digital business card. So Alex, the agent, his QR code and URL is going to tie Brian, the loan officer, and Alex, the agent. So Brian, the LO, can have Alex, the agent, Michael, the agent, Fraser, the agent, Kimberly, the agent, right? I can have an infinite number of partners. Each has its own unique link. And now those agents are making this tool available to their sphere, right? So on the back end of our system, we limit visibility to the agent to just real estate or property related activities. So anyone that creates goes in and initiates a search, creates a search filter, favorites properties. All of those property related actions, those are immediate alerts to the agent and the loan officer. Everything else, alert wise, that's more financial related and readiness related, is exclusive between consumer and loan officer. And there's a bunch of reasons for it. One of the primary reasons, when we talk to a lot of loan officers about building this out, they want that information because that's how they create more value for their agents. They're the trusted source for managing all things financial around this consumer. And then when we queried a bunch of agents, frankly, they didn't really want to see any of that stuff. So property related, agent will have visibility to. All other stuff is LO only. And then the LO, the smart LOs that are leveraging our platform with agents are scheduling regular check-ins to review the pipeline of folks that are in that readiness queue.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Are we ready to demo the app and the integration?
It's rock and roll, man.
Let's do it. All right. I'm going to share my screen. I started doing this because I discovered a couple weeks ago or about a month ago, I discovered this cool little tool on Apple devices that allows me to mirror my iPhone. The app, the KeySteps app, I feel like we can't go through this presentation without showing you how clean the look and feel is, how well represented you and your brand are. And when I say well represented your brand is, obviously I'm not saying that you go in there and you customize it with your branding. That's not a part of the KeySteps product. For those of you guys that are looking for that next level, that's a FinLocker conversation, and we're happy to facilitate that connection between you guys and Brian, or you guys can reach out to Brian directly for that. But when I say represent your brand well, I just mean if you're going to go out, if you're going to recommend something, it's going to be a reflection on you, right? Especially if you're saying, hey, this is my app, this is connected to me, etc. So it's really important that this not only functions the way that we expect it to, but it also looks and feels professional, and it looks and feels modern. And so that was kind of my reasoning behind the first time, me going through this, going, holy shit, anybody who is considering KeySteps needs to see this, because this is what had me sold on it. And I've had KeySteps on my phone now for, I don't know, it's probably been close to a year, and I just use it for, for testing stuff out. But my point is, I do have some exposure with the platform and the reliability of it, et cetera. And again, this to me, especially as a tech buff, this to me is the sauce and what I get really excited about. So if I'm in here on the dashboard, the sign up experience is really easy. It's guided, it's conversational. So it's asking you for certain information with context as to why they're asking for that information. You can skip steps if you want to, and really kind of fly through the onboarding if you're not trying to get everything set up front, which I know there's a lot of users out there that'll do that. Hey, let me skip all this stuff and then I'll go back and fill it. Really easy to do that. You've got your credit monitoring built in. You've got the ability to monitor your accounts in here. Again, I'm not enrolled in this stuff currently with this account, but you can see how if somebody skipped through that stuff, how easy it is, and how it's still selling them on it, right? If they go over to this, it's going to tell them what they're missing basically and invite them back into it. So accounts, and then your readiness scores. So if they don't link up their accounts and they don't link up their credit in here, they can still run a readiness check based on self-reported data. Now, this readiness check, I'm highlighting this because it's going to be important for the integration here in just a minute. But again, the point is onboarding super easy. You send them a link to the app. They fill out the app, they onboard themselves, you get notified. We'll go through the integration in a minute. And then this app lives on their phone, and this app continues to be improved and expanded so that you continue to have more and more reason for them to keep this app on their phone, use it, engage with it, and ultimately keep you in their pocket at all times. Okay. So that is the app. I definitely don't want to get out of here without showing you guys that. But let me jump into the integration.
Hey, Michael, can I add one thing? Because I didn't show
Please
it.
do.
I didn't show it in my demo, but most of what we've been talking about here and what I talk about on LinkedIn and other places as it relates to our tech is this up funnel engagement, education, preparation of these early journey home buyers. That's kind of our sweet spot. That's our differentiator. There are other tools. So once I become a homeowner, I can activate those other tools or unlock those other tools. So we allow that consumer now to link that property, and there's an engagement strategy around property valuation, right? So at some stage, you get enough consumers in here that have gone through the preparation and home buying process and now own homes. They're going to be engaged on an ongoing basis post transaction. That includes they're still going to get their credit updates, but now they're also going to get updates on their property value, recently sold homes in their neighborhood. If they've also connected to their mortgage account, there's this equity optimization view that they're engaged on. So the app, to Michael's point, not only is it 24/7, 365, but it can be an evergreen engagement strategy for you, not just up funnel preparation.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. So this integration, what does this integration look like? Because ultimately at the end of the day, the ability to like have this app on their phone is great, but if they never scroll down and see your face on it, or you never do the work to follow up and connect with people and ask them about their activity in there, you ultimately have a tool that's definitely worth the cost of it, but you're leaving a lot of money and a lot of opportunity on the table. And so like our background is in helping loan officers convert internet leads, like generate and convert internet leads, and we've expanded beyond that, but that's how we started back in 2016 or 2017. And then early 2018 is we're helping loan officers generate and convert mortgage leads. And so a lot of the times when I evaluate things, that like naturally, that's just how I look at them. And so one of the things that we were most excited about right away, and Emmett brought this up earlier in the chat, which is this is an awesome lead magnet as well. Not only is it an opportunity to kick over from the conversations that you have with people and the conversations that you do have where they're maybe not ready and they're a year out, like, yes, awesome, common sense play for those guys. But also you now have something to go out into the market at in-person events, whether it's for real estate agents or it's for like home buyers or online events or, just social media posts, just dropping that business card and social media posts. Like now you have something that is a top of funnel attractor as well. And so none of this stuff means anything if we can't track what people are doing inside of the platform, and if we can't track who you've invited, who's registered, and so on and so forth. So this integration is a EmpowerLO exclusive integration. We are the preferred high-level vendor for KeySteps, and we are the only ones that have an integration with the KeySteps product. Like if you guys wanted to go spend thousands of dollars for the FinLocker product and do the ultimate customization and stuff, you have a lot more options as far as that goes. But as far as KeySteps and being able to access this at a cost that's reasonable for an individual producer, that's the piece that you're like, as cool as this stuff is going to be, and as much as you guys are going to want to have this in your CRM, you're going to see ultimately all of these plugged into EmpowerLO where these things exclusively live, at least for the time being. So that being said, the first thing that I want to show you guys is our dashboard, the KeySteps tracker dashboard. So I'll actually go ahead and I'm going to pull us into a live account for this one because we have a few clients that have been live with this integration for a couple weeks. So we'll go ahead and pull this up. Sweet. And so real simple, it's just going to show you the number of new registrations that you have that haven't yet completed any sort of activity inside the account. It's going to show you the number of active KeySteps users that you have, and these are clickable so that you can open them up and see the contacts and the people that have ultimately ended up signing up. You're going to see the number of open invites that you have. So we have an outbound invitation email campaign where you can drop people into them. It'll track the open invite, and at the end of the 3-week solicitation campaign, we'll call it, right? Invitation campaign. At the end of that 3 weeks, it'll remove them from your opportunity pipeline, which I'll show you in a minute, and mark that opportunity as abandoned, as in, hey, I gave it a shot, I gave them the invitation, they didn't bite, and I'm moving on. So what does that opportunity pipeline look like? If we go into KeySteps, we can see the people that we've invited that haven't yet accepted that invitation, haven't yet registered, the people that have registered but haven't yet identified where they're at in the process. And then we have the journeys, the journey tags, which is, again, people identifying that this is where they're at in the process. So you'll notice we have 5 signups in here for Chris, who's been live on this for about a week and a half now. We have 5 signups. All 5 of them are in not looking. Okay. And so, like, regardless of what this means about it, like his pipeline or the leads or, you know, whatever like that, what this means is that he's getting people to sign up, even people that aren't like, you know, credit challenged, uber motivated to do anything because their lease is expiring, you know, or next month and they don't have a place to go. And all, like, this isn't like emergency back against the wall registrations. These are people that are not looking, that are seeing the value in having this app and installing it. Okay. So this is the pipeline. This is what allows you to see at a glance where people are at. But the real power in this comes in the like actual data integration itself. So what does that integration look like? Basically, the workflow is going to look something like this. Okay. Where each one of these represents a path. Each end of these like forks here represents a path that gives us an opportunity to follow up and engage. Okay. So registration complete. The only thing that we're doing is adding the registered opportunity. If somebody enrolls in credit, then we come in here and we can add notes. We can, you know, follow up. We can, you know, reach out to them if their credit enrollment failed and see if we can figure out what's going on. We got a lot of different options in here. Now, what you're going to see is you're going to see the framework in place for a lot of this stuff. And yes, there are some like campaigns and notes and like little things that we do here and there. But if you know us at EmpowerLO, what we specialize in is customizing your shit to make it yours. And so, and having a relationship with you that makes it easy for you to communicate those ideas and for us to help you execute them. And so if you look in here, this is not full with like, you know, 1,000 follow-up campaigns that where you haven't necessarily created the content or even identified or agreed with the content. This is a couple very targeted like automations in here with the infrastructure for you to work with us to help identify what you want to do at each one of these different updates. So journey tag, if they come in, they identify themselves as getting ready. Well, we're going to update the opportunity, but is there something else that we want to do with those people? Same thing with not looking, overcoming challenge, and ready, and identifying themselves as ready. Now, the most value right now is coming out of this readiness run event, which is when somebody goes into the app. Like if I were to come back into the app over here, remember this section down at the bottom that said readiness? So if I go over to readiness, I come over in here and basically once I've put my information in here, it'll give me the option to run the readiness, like basically run my scenarios, right? And then this is going to give me a summary of my results and the number of stars that I've gotten. So this information is going to come through into Empower, and we're going to give you a note and an update with the information that they ran on the readiness run and place that in the contact so that you can see that in a continuous log. But we're also going to keep an ear and an eye out for when they finally do pass that test and we've got all 4 of those ready, then we're going to send you a notification right away, get it right on your calendar or get it right front and center, where you now can reach out to them because their readiness, according to the readiness run, they've got 4 stars and they're ready to qualify. So this is like allowing your leads to basically self-nurture over time. Okay. So what we're doing, what we're offering, okay, we're offering the KeySteps integration with EmpowerLO, and we're offering that as like a white glove customized onboarding. So essentially, the other thing in here that I didn't go over yet is an email campaign, is an outbound email campaign for inviting people. So this is the KeySteps invite sequence. So this is what is it? 6 emails over 3 weeks. And these in here are like have optimized subject lines, optimized content, and links directly to your guys' registration. And so in here, you can see there's not a lot going on in here as far as branding goes. That's part of what you get when you sign up today or tomorrow. We're going to leave this offer open until the end of day tomorrow, but part of what you get is that we're actually going to come in and help you make these yours. If you want to add your brand colors, if you want to add your logo, whatever it is, we're going to help you make these yours so that as soon as you go live with the integration and you get done onboarding with us, you're ready to start using KeySteps right out of the gates. Okay. We also include, I know KeySteps gives you your own landing page. We also include a simple landing page for you to use as well, if that's what you'd like to do. And then again, we're coming in here and we're customizing these to fit you and your brand. And then this is going to link directly to your registration link. Okay. So all of this ties into the integration that I showed you there. So what you guys are getting, if you guys sign up again today or tomorrow, number one, we are discounting our setup fee, which we've only this is EmpowerLO, right? We've got 2 separate services here. Brian showed you KeySteps. You do not have to work with EmpowerLO to be able to access this amazing tool. What you do have to work with EmpowerLO to get is the integration, the content, the landing pages that I've showed you. You do have to work with EmpowerLO to get that. So first step would be signing up with Brian for KeySteps, and then signing up with EmpowerLO. Our setup fee is normally $500. And if you know us, you know we don't do discounts. But we are discounting this setup fee 40%. It's $300 one time. And then we've got a couple bonuses that we've never done before as well. So bonus number 1 is that white glove like customization of your KeySteps integration. So anybody that signs up will get all the content and will get the integration in their account. Like that's a given. What they won't get is us working with you to say, hey, what's your logo? What are your brand colors? Do you want this applied on here? Where do you want it, et cetera? And then giving you that walkthrough of like, okay, here's what your workflow is going to look like. So that's unique. That's something that we're only offering for the next, what is it? 36 hours about. Okay. The other bonus, and this is something that Fraser is graciously like allowing us to offer, where Fraser has this agent fuel strategy guide for real estate agents, for loan officers to use to attract real estate agents within their market. It's a Canva template. It's completely customizable, super like clean 25 strategies for lead generating for real estate agents that actually work, legit modern practices in there. In fact, I am talking to you guys about this, and we've got it right here. So come through, right? You want to talk about representing your brand well? Like this is it. Okay. So Fraser's letting us include this and the snapshot that we have put together to support it. And so what does that snapshot include? Well, that snapshot's going to include your registration page, right? Your lead magnet landing page for the Agent Fuel Strategy Guide. And it's going to include your follow-up and delivery as well. And so again, we're going to offer this with white glove onboarding and like customization. So we're going to customize the Canva template for you. We're going to customize the landing page for you, and we're going to customize the delivery email for you. And I say for you, it'll be with you. You're going to be involved in that process. But we're going to execute it for you so that, again, if you sign up today or tomorrow, that you're going to be ready to go with things that you can do to actually grow your business on day one. So that's what we're offering. Again, if you guys were on the last webinar, you know that we had an offer there. We didn't have these extra bonuses included when we did this last time. So this is new. But what you do know, if you were a part of the last webinar, is that we don't bluff. We don't bait and switch. We don't, we don't tell you that, we don't create false urgency or scarcity like at Friday at midnight Mountain Time, because I don't stay up later than that. This offer goes away. Like this offer goes away. It did 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when we ran that one. It will again today, and we don't have another one on the books. So with that, I'll kick it over to yeah, 1 second. EmpowerLO. If you want to access this, go to empowerlo.com/KeySteps. You can go to KeySteps Fever, or you can go to KeySteps checkout. empowerlo.com/KeySteps checkout. This will take you to a page that outlines what it is that we're including, the bonuses, etc. You can sign up right there. If you guys sign up, you guys will get your onboarding form, and we potentially, I mean, if you guys get signed up in the next hour or two, we potentially could have you guys in a sub account by the end of the day. So that said, we had some questions. What do we got?
There's a pricing question on EmpowerLO.
Yep. EmpowerLO is $297 a month. $297 a month. This is full blown CRM backed by high level. I mean, this is what we sell and what we do every single day without KeySteps. When you add KeySteps to it and the integration, it's like, I mean, I can talk to you about EmpowerLO, but this integration, this integration is why you guys came here, and this is why you guys should move forward. So. Is there a replay? Yes, we'll get a replay out. And if you didn't get to catch the beginning, but you catch the replay, we're going to let you claim that offer as well until tomorrow at midnight. So again, 36 hours, we'll let you guys claim that offer. We'll send out the replay as soon as it's done rendering with Zoom, and we'll get going.
And one thing I just want to add to everyone is that, what's important to notice is that this is part of our overall mission to consolidate all the different things that originators kind of get pulled into different directions, right? One thing that is apparent to all of the loan officers, and for those that don't know my background and how long I've been in the industry and whatnot, I won't go into all of that. But ultimately, there's a lot of fragmentation in the industry, right? Like FinLocker is a company, EmpowerLO is a company, you have your LOS, you have all these different services, right? And then you're trying to connect them. Sometimes integration isn't needed, but sometimes it is. This is one of the cases where it absolutely helps to be integrated. But more importantly, what our mission and vision at Empower is to be that all-in-one marketing partner with our all-in-one marketing platform. And I'd go even farther, as marketing is growth and growth is marketing. And ultimately, you get more. I don't want anyone to think of what we do as just a CRM vendor, right? We are a growth partner, and it goes with Michael's experience on the origination side, Kim's experience on the real estate side, my experience on the mortgage side. I grew up in the mortgage industry, owned a mortgage company, led a mortgage company, executive and consultant with some of the biggest lenders in the country. And consumer direct is our thing. And so it's more than just I have a CRM that I put my contacts in, is that we have everything. When it comes to campaigns, scripts, landing pages, partnerships like what we're doing with FinLocker and the KeySteps product, other things that we have that, stuff we're working on, content. There is literally nothing that you'll need as an originator from a growth perspective, because we have office hour calls, we have marketing and strategy calls that you could play into. And those are ones that are led by me. And so, there's coaching involved with what we're doing. And so there's just so many things that you have access to. And so I want everyone that's not an Empower, or even if you are an Empower client now, is just know that you need to avail yourself, is that there's no other solution doing what we're doing. Right. And it's not because like no one could, it's just everyone thinks about their own little world and like, how do I make the best CRM? That's great. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, how do we be a valuable asset? How do we be a valuable partner to you, the originator? Because ultimately you're the engine that drives the car, right? If you guys aren't doing what you're doing, there ain't no need for FinLocker. There ain't no need for Empower. Ain't no need for coaching or anything else. So how do we enhance what you do? How do we optimize what you do? How do we do 95% of the heavy lifting so that you could focus 100% on the 5% that you need. And can you imagine what happens to your business when you do that? And you can look at our reviews, you can look at our rep and everything else, to see that we, you know, we live what we talk about. And so that's what I want everyone to understand about this. Isn't just one of, you know, some other like, hey, integration and vendor and da 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 da. And then, you know, I'd even get into Brian's, you know, his rep and revenue or resume in the industry of being, you know, the leader of one of the top, you know, mortgage companies in the country. So like, this is everything, pouring all these different experiences and expertise into a vision for the future, because this is what we need, right? This is what we're going to need. The old industry is dead, right? Like it's evolved, and we got to continue growing and continue evolving. And that's what we're playing at. That's what we're building for the future. So I just want everyone to not think that, hey, this is just another CRM that's just interchangeable with anything else. Too much fragmentation out there. We want to be the core. We want to be the hub. We want to be the one that helps empowers your growth for not just today, but for the future.
Amen. Amen.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. Oh yeah. You guys, we're here. I got to jump off probably in about 5 minutes, but we've got, you know, we're wrapped up as far as like what we had scheduled for the presentation. If you guys have any questions about Empower, about KeySteps, FinLocker, questions for Frazier, any of that, feel free to drop them. We'll get to them and then shut this room here in the next couple of minutes. But thank you guys so much for being a part of this, and we look forward to seeing you on the other side, man, on the Empower platform.
Thanks, everybody.
None in the Q&A. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, Empower clients. If you guys are watching this, you guys are Empower clients. You guys are gonna get just sign up for KeySteps, and anything you saw today, you'll get already as part of your membership with us. So you already paid a setup fee. You already went through that. Like, we'll give you the white glove onboarding with KeySteps. We'll give you the agent fuel strategy guide. We'll get you set up. You guys took the time to join us today. Just get signed up with KeySteps and we'll take care of everything else. You don't see a checkout. Uh-oh. Did you press that? Oh. Did I give you the wrong? Did I post the wrong link? Did I say KeyStep? No, KeySteps checkout. Okay, so you click that. And then if you click on the button that says get started now, there's your checkout. So
Why don't you pull it up on screen, Michael, so Tristan can see it.
Good call. Good call.
I got to exit, guys. I got to go open another call.
All right. Brian,
Thanks,
thanks
Brian.
for joining us, man.
Thank
See
you,
you guys.
man.
All right. Get started. So this is the page, EmpowerLO.com, KeySteps checkout. You can scroll down if you want to learn more about any of this, learn about the offer. We got some FAQs in there.
Throw the link again in the chat if you could.
Yep. Chat. There it is again. And then if you guys want to get started, click get started now. Guys, $597 is your $300 setup fee and $297 for your first month as an Empower client. So normally that's a $500 setup fee, discounted $200 plus you get the bonuses for the next 36 hours. Those are available to you. So if any questions on that, let us know. But again, $597, the reason you see that instead of $297, you got that one-time $300 setup fee that's discounted 40% for the next 36 hours. And then your bonuses are listed out there as well. Any other questions, you guys? Let me double check the comments, make sure we got everything. Check our participants real quick. I think we're good. Webinar chat, on phone. I see book strategy call, but not the other. You're on the phone and you click on that. Oh, wait, I messed that up.
It's missing on mobile.
Oh, no. All right. Thank you very much. I'll get that. In fact, you're doing it? What part was missing? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, you could if you keep scrolling down, there's a couple more call to actions that should be visible. I must have screwed up that one button right there. But if you keep scrolling, you can click any of these other buttons as well. And then it should, let me make sure.
Oh, was it desktop only?
Yeah. Let me
Those are edited and published, so you should be able to see those if you refresh yours.
refresh your screen. Thank you for being on and calling us out on that shit. Let me see. Oh, what is it gonna do? No? Oh, I'm in Safari, not Chrome. That's why. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Were you, Teresa, were you able to get to that on mobile? We have your number. We can we'll reach out to you after and make sure that you get everything you need. Dun, dun, dun. But on that note, guys, thank you so much for no, and I'm out of country. Oh, nice. Okay. Shit. Well, then we're gonna stay here and figure this out really quick then. Go here.
I got to drop, guys.
All right. Thanks, Fraser. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. One more. Let me see here. Just gonna make sure. I'm gonna check it out on mobile really quick. And we need to center that button on mobile. Boom. Okay, so let me go here. Let me look at our Zoom call. I'm gonna share my screen really quick, or text. Okay, so we can text you. We'll text you. But basically, this is what you should be seeing when you get here. You should see something that looks like this. If you don't see that button and you keep scrolling, you should see one of these other two buttons, and they will open up the same thing. So if you click on that, the checkout option will pop up there. So we'll
Okay. Can you hear me now?
yeah, we can.
Okay, let me see your screen. Yeah, I don't see that claim discount or anything. I've refreshed it multiple times.
And are you on empowerlo.com/keysteps-checkout?
Yeah, I went to that link. I see a book a strategy call, and
Yeah,
I see
there shouldn't even be a book a strategy call option up there. So let me push that. Let me push the link one more time and see if we can get it to work. Let's go. Will you?
that's why I got on here, so I could get this discount.
Yeah, no worries. Will you? So I just dropped that link again. Will you try and click on that and see?
I am.
See if that takes you to a screen that looks a little different.
Okay, I see the get started now button now.
Perfect. We should be that. That should be it.
Okay, I'm gonna try it here real quick.
Hell yeah. You want to hang
All
tight?
right.
You good?
It looks like I'm seeing that come up now. Okay, thank you.
Perfect. We'll keep an eye out, and then we'll make sure your onboarding form gets out to you as soon as we see that come through. And if you get that filled out while you're gone, we'll make sure that you're ready to go by the time you get back.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Great talking to you. Have a good day.
Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you.
All right. We are out of here, guys. Thank you so much. Feel free to reach out if you need anything. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.